Welcome to this episode of YouTube where we'd like to wish you happy holidays from the Wolf Care staff. And as we said last week, we are in this colder weather, we're trying to do a little bit different management that takes out one part of wolf interactions, and that's the competition over food. We're feeding everybody daily amounts of chicken. We're still giving some carcasses on Wednesday and Saturday, but in between those days, they get to satiate themselves on chicken, and here's Grizzer enjoying an opportunity to consume some chicken. Maya's a little bit possessive about chicken. She tries to take as many pieces as she can and stash them a little bit away from everybody else and consume them. And she does guard them from Aiden. And so we feed Aiden, actually, his chicken while he's in the medical pen in the morning. So basically the routine for Wolf Care staff, 365 days a year, we come in, we do morning vitamins. And when we talk about meds, it's basically vitamins, glucosamine supplements for the older animals. Durlactin is also a joint supplement for the older animals. And Aiden is getting Glycoflex, something that we've noticed on him. His conformation isn't nearly as good as Denali's, and so we're giving him a supplemental joint supplement. And that's done daily, and the best management procedure we have is to remove Aiden from the pack in the medical pen, where we make sure that he gets the exact meds that he needs and that he gets to eat his chicken without the competition of Maya guarding. Once Aiden's fed, he comes back out and watches Maya and Grizzer finish their chicken. And usually there's a little bit of ear posturing there, a little anxiety. You can see the ears pricked and turned sideways. He's interested, but he's also a little anxious. But the tail's wagging, and again, he's mindful that he doesn't take their chicken, which is basically what omegas kind of know just inherently. And so that works out fairly well for us, and as we said, we feed as much as they want at this given time. Weather has moderated a bit, so it's not nearly as cold, but this will be the process that we're going to run through the winter as we try to transition Grizzer and Denali back together. And basically, Grizzer, again, as we said, had to have his sutures closed up again. And so we kept Denali out, and we still have Denali out. We plan to put him back in next week, giving Grizzer a little bit more time. As you can see here, Grizzer's doing well. He's maneuvering well. He's carrying his tail well. He's marking. Got a little bit of a limp yet, so I want to make sure that that limp on that ligament or that tendon is not going to be an issue when Denali comes back in. It wasn't damage to the tendon, but certainly some bruising that makes him feel probably a little bit sore. He's also on an anti-inflammatory every day, helping with that pain associated with that inflammation. We've gotten a good bit of snow here, and as you can see, kind of as you look up into the upper enclosure, there are parts of this pen that the wolves don't utilize that is full of snow. There are typical wolf trails that they go on, but some areas that are untrodden by the wolves, and they'll just pile up with snow, and they don't really use that area. They tend to stay towards the front. One other thing that we're trying prior to the reintroduction of Denali is anything that we can do to calm the animals a little bit. And here what you're seeing is what's called DAP, a dog appeasing pheromone spray that we are going to try in the next several days here to see if it has a calming effect. Again, they're not dogs, and we don't pretend that they are or that these dog remedies will work, but this is a product that's sold for dogs that have a little bit of anxiety issue. Again, just a pheromone spray that makes them feel a little bit more relaxed. And you can see here, typical sprays, what they do is stimulate scent rolling. Now, because they are wolves, scent rolling is an excitable situation, and you can see Aiden here, a little bit uncertain why his two dominant animals are rolling around in a subordinate posture, and you will actually see Aiden try to scent roll, but that stimulates Maya and Grizzer to show him some dominance. So even though they're canines, they're not dogs, and even though we think this might help, we are resigned to the fact to know that dog procedures may not always work on wolves, but it is worth a try. It's an all-natural product, doesn't hurt them, and it actually makes them, they were excited to scent roll, but as you can see here, like I said, excitement leads to a little dominance, and so Aiden tries to scent roll in the pheromones and gets chased. Now, Denali gets the same treatment. We don't want any one wolf smelling differently than another, so Denali's loving it. He's loving it because he's he's taken to holding much better than anyone we've ever dealt with. He gets his own food. He's got his own beds. Here he's loving that pheromone spray. But you will see his excitement and his kind of a little bit of excitable energy there will create some tension in the exhibit pack, and Grizzer's going to charge the fence trying to see what Denali's up to there. And so we want to be real cautious about how we use that and when we use that spray. Now, the retired wolves don't need any pheromone spray. They are getting along pretty well. And I'm sure you're wondering how many times am I going to post a video of Shadow scraping straw off the den. But it is something that we do on a daily basis. Shadow, I put straw on, Shadow scrapes it off, and it's kind of become a little routine for us every day. But he's certainly, I think, excitable. He likes to mark, and this is our good stimulus for him. And again, why we put straw on is, we know wolves are capable of sleeping in snow. They do it all, over wolf range. But the fact that a captive animal doesn't have an opportunity for always fresh snow, the snow that they lay on may be compacted and they lose their insulating value. And it's our responsibility as captive managers to make them as comfortable as possible. So we do daily straw beds, and Shadow daily marks on them and scrapes it off, and I rake it back up, and we continue that on a daily basis. But it works out pretty well. As I said, these retired wolves are getting chicken as well. That's not so much weather related as it is just old age and Shadow's issues with not competing. We know when Shadow's satiated, he will cache, and Shadow is a very detailed cacher. His caches have to be perfect, and he'll spend several minutes making sure that this is perfect. Now, if you ever watch your dog cache, again, these are instinctual behaviors. Your dog will probably use the same body postures, the same nose pushing and pushing of the dirt and tamping of the cache, and certainly your dog may not be as rigid as Shadow is in making sure his cache is perfect, but you will see this as an instinctual behavior. And we are making sure that we feed plenty, that Shadow is getting his fill, and as we have always said, that makes Malik happy, because Malik tends to get quite a bit more. So this caching is taking place right in front of the den, and as you'll see here in a clip in a bit, this cache doesn't last very long. Malik comes over and takes it from him. But Shadow works very hard at making sure that those are hidden. And he'll do that pretty much every day that we feed him chicken. He's a very delicate eater. He does not consume very quickly. We have to be very, very patient with him when we're handing him food. And I'm certain there are management places that would say, you know what, if he's hungry, he'll eat, and just let him go long enough. But I often wonder the psychological aspects, that he faced in, first of all, being in that exhibit pack when he was weakening and losing all that weight and not competing and trying to keep a pack of younger animals under control, may have, manifested itself into some kind of other quirks about feeding. And so we want to take as much time as we can with him. Now here's Malik, and as we said earlier, Malik's abscess did come back, and this is our last try of antibiotics before we make the decision to do a tooth removal, which is likely coming. But Malik, thought we'd give you a good close-up view of him as he checks out the camera. He's obviously taking advantage of Shadow's abnormality with the feeding, and so that's why we feed so much extra food and we make sure it's available. He is posturing a little bit with Shadow, but really not any physical dominance between these two individuals. The only time we saw it was when there was the aggression in the main pack that can stimulate them. And as I said, here Malik is going to come up, and all that work Shadow did was pretty much gone. Malik takes it and uses his incisors to flip it over to get to the fleshy part of the skin and be able to try to consume it. So that's it for the YouTube this week. And again, we want to thank you for all your support and all your comments. We know that it's difficult to have conflict within a pack, and we certainly hope for the best with Denali's reintroduction. We do have a very detailed plan and have highest level wolf care staff that are going to be involved in that plan, and we'll report more on that next week. Thanks for watching.